Hello, graduate admissions and master in teaching panel. I'm Mallory Schumacher, and I wanted to say thank you very much for considering me for the spring 2014 Masters in Teaching cohort. I also wanted to say thank you for giving me the opportunity for an online interview as I am out of the area. I have many interpersonal strengths, including leadership and organization, but I believe that my most valued interpersonal strength would be that I'm a team player. And with this, I am able to listen to all points of view and value the diversity of each one. And I think that this makes me an important asset to any team and any classroom because I can be seen as a non-judgmental facilitator. One interpersonal challenge that comes to mind, like many other individuals, would be public speaking. I found out early on that that's going to be a challenge that I would need to overcome because it's not going to go away. But I learned that through camp counseling and being a team captain and classroom presentations that it was something that I was able to overcome, and I can definitely see the growth in myself and the confidence that I've built over the years. And I think that this is something that will help me empathize with many individuals and that I can help them to become better public speakers and more confident in themselves. I'm here with 3 teachers from Griffin Middle School, and I will let them introduce themselves.
I'm Amber Keith, and I teach in the middle school resource room.
And I'm Jennifer Segesser. I'm the music specialist and middle school band director.
I'm Sue Schumacher, and I teach 8th grade American history and language arts.
As we'll be discussing Daniel Ock's article, we're discussing whether or not poverty is actually the plague in public schools in America, or if it is bad teachers.
Well, I completely agree with the author's position because I think that in all the years that I've spent in schools, I see teachers working very hard to be good teachers, to get to know their students individually, and then go above and beyond to do what needs to be done as much as we can during the school day and often outside of the school day. And unfortunately, all of the students don't come equally prepared, but we do what we can.
We were talking about poverty maybe being one of the issues, but maybe not the main issue for why schools are in the condition they are today. We brought up other things that survival is a really big thing for students that are living in poverty, and that they're not so worried about the day-to-day things that are happening in school and more, where they're going to sleep when they go home and how they're going to take care of their siblings and so forth.
And it's reasons because of that students aren't able to participate in extracurricular activities, which can play a large role in doing homework and participating in things like band and sports, which all plays a role on your school grades and success.
Yeah, and like Sue was saying, I think as teachers, at least in the experiences that we've had, we have seen we've seen more good teaching and more efforts by teachers going above and beyond to make sure that students are successful than we have seen bad teachers in the classroom that have affected performance. And so it really does tie back in with the poverty and like what Amber was saying, not having the ability really to, not making the choice to not do homework and to purposely, do those things, but having to survive and being so distracted by other life skills that it does make it really hard. And that's where I think teachers are going above and beyond and stepping in and being there outside of the class day and providing programs for kids that are kind of targeting the poverty line and addressing specifically that group of students and trying to get them to come up and rise to the rest of the population. So
I think poverty makes it really difficult for them to see past today and for them to prepare for their futures, and because they don't have people in their lives that are being successful, and they don't have parents that have gone to college, and so they're kind of trying to figure out where they fit into that and how school is actually going to help them.
Yeah. Well, and poverty, as we know, typically it's not just a financial thing, it comes back to an educational thing within the family unit, and not having maybe the same experiences as somebody that a child that's coming from a family with an education background or parents that went beyond the high school experience, and so they're just kind of repeating what they know and what they've done, and so it kind of falls into routine a little bit, unfortunately. And so helping to educate the families as well, and helping them to then again make the homework and educational process part of life at home. So
As Jen was saying, the poverty and in schools is part of a routine, which is why Ox was mentioning that such a low poverty rate in Finland sees higher success rates in school, and which is another reason why the poverty in the Americas, where it's 23% for students, they see a lower success rate in schools.
Right.
yeah.
And I think also he mentioned parent involvement and some other things that of course stem from the home, but again, parents prioritize, and if your priority means that you have to work at night and you can't be up with your child in the morning to get them off to school, or you're not home in the evening for homework, or you can't go to games, it doesn't mean that you don't wish you could. So I think that it's not a lack of goals for their children, but again, it's the immediacy of having to take care of today. It's priorities without choices, perhaps.
Definitely.
Can I go out there on a limb?
Do that.
Okay.
I was hoping somebody
Well,
would do that.
I was gonna think that a lot of times I hear people in society blame teachers because it's a person they can blame. It's a thing they can blame that's tangible. I think poverty as a whole is really hard to blame because that's nitpicking on them a little bit and making them kind of take ownership of it more so. And so I think that sometimes voters and other people say, it's bad teaching, it's this and it's that, when it's really a bigger issue in general. And it's easier to blame something that's tangible that they can see and that they know is in the schools every day.
Well, and I mean, it's not just, I don't think it's just poverty that is causing, I don't think we can just blame the one specific thing, and I don't think we can even just blame the family unit, and there are other factors that go into it other than the financial part of it, and sometimes it can be just a bad combination. It could be a low achieving student just chemically, or other things going on, and they just so happen to be under the poverty bubble, and so I think that sometimes that gets kind of blocked in there, and then we kind of box in those kids saying, well, they're not performing well because they're they don't have the money, or they don't have the they only have one parent at home or something. So it's really hard to just say it's just poverty or it's just teachers, because there's just so many complex factors that make up a kid and that make up a student, and teaching is so relational, and there's so many other things that go into helping a student be successful that I can't just completely say that it's just poverty that versus a bad teacher that creates that situation. So.
I think it's an interesting statistic that he pulled out, though, because I don't think I would have ever even think of that. Like in Finland, I would imagine that there was some poverty, but the percentages were very low compared to what we deal with, and I don't think I would have looked at that. I mean, it's something that I knew existed, but I didn't realize when the actual facts were presented, it was pretty drastic.
Yeah.
Well, one thing though, he did kind of simplify it, but poverty it's not just one little thing, and especially if it's been generational in someone's family, it has reached into parents and grandparents' education or lack of, where they live, health care, time with your parent or parents, all of those things which don't really have monetary value on them, but perhaps the level that parents experience them got its first basis in a lack of income or something, and so it definitely has far-reaching things, but just a low-paying job is simplifying it, I think, way a whole lot.
Yeah.
As we have discussed, it is clear that there's not really one reason why America is not doing as well as Finland in the statistics because of poverty. It plays so many factors and everything that the students come into contact with on a day-to-day basis in their schools. It does play a major role because they are not able to, they have other priorities, where they're going to eat, where they're going to sleep, things they want to do outside of school, having to take care of themselves. It's going to play a major role in everything they do on their day-to-day lives. And is there anything else you guys want to add?
I think we're good.
Yeah.
I think you send poor kids to school and teachers are gonna do their very best to help them succeed.
Every single day.
True.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.